Hello, Eric. Here's my presentation. We have the people as plaintiff and respondent, v. Justin Ashley Flint, defendant and appellant in the Court of Appeal for the State of California, Second Appellate District, Division 1. The case arises out of a new Senate Bill Act number 1437 from 2019 that amended the felony murder doctrine in the California State Penal Code. Before the enactment of Bill 1437, those who had committed felonies or an accomplice murdered someone, even if the killing was inadvertent or unforeseeable, such a person would be liable for first-degree murder. After the enactment of 1437, to convict of felony murder, prosecution must, 1, prove defendant was the actual killer or acted with intent to kill, aiding, abetting, counseling, or assisting the killing, or 2, was a major participant in the underlying felony and acted with reckless indifference to human life. One exception that exists is that if the victim was a peace officer in the commission of his or her duties as a peace officer, and the defendant knew or reasonably should have known that the victim was a peace officer, then the old felony murder rules would still apply. So the facts of this particular case is that in 2006, Flint and his co-defendant, Frank Gonzalez, attempted to rob an LA County Sheriff's deputy, Maria Rosa, outside of her home in Long Beach. She tried to fire a gun. Her gun jammed. They shot her twice, resulted in her death. At the time of the incident, she was on her way to work at LA County Men's Central Jail. This is seen as being a police officer in the commission of his or her duty. Trial court found that Flint knew or reasonably should have known that Rosa was a peace officer, because at the trial, an undercover officer testified that Flint told him that he saw Rosa's badge during the commission of the robbery. Jury convicted Flint of first-degree murder. The prosecution tried to argue that a felony murder special circumstance applied. The jury found this not to be true. That he was convicted for felony murder because she was a peace officer, but not for felony murder otherwise. He was sentenced to 29 years to life in prison. He made a prima facie case that he's eligible for resentencing under California Penal Code Section 1170-95, Subdivision C. Trial court denied his facial petition. The appellate court disagreed and granted review. It cited People v. Lewis, 2021. The court's duty, as cited by this previous case, was to take a facial petition and regard the facts of the petition as true, and then later to try to affirm or dispel these facts. So Flint appealed his murder conviction under the following. Jury instruction had said, if Flint, with intent to kill, aid, abet, counsel, command, induce, solicit, request, or assist in first-degree murder, or with reckless indifference to human life as a major participant in the attempted robbery, which resulted in the killing. So the jury said not true, which means they disagreed with both of these two conditions. They had reasonable doubt as to both of them. So according to Penal Code 1170.95, Subdivision D2, a mechanism was created, and this is all because of Senate Bill 1437, for those convicted of felony murder previous to the legislation to receive immediate resentencing in light of the change of the laws. However, the Senate bill created an exception to the new requirements for felony murder. They do not apply when the victim is a peace officer in the commission of his or her duties, in the course of his or her duties. However, Now, this is a problem in the discrepancy of the writing of the law. Section 11795 D2 allows for resentencing, which allows for resentencing, makes no provision for the peace officer exemption. So Flint says there's nothing in the language of the law for this mechanism to allow people who were previously found guilty of this crime. This peace officer exemption isn't there, so you must vacate my conviction. The court disagreed. It states, although we must defer to the plain language of a statute, the language of a statute should not be given a literal meaning. If doing so would result in absurd consequences the legislature did not intend. Intent, the spirit of the law prevails over the letter of the law, and the letter will be read in accordance with the spirit of the enactment. They cite reports from the Senate Rules Committee explaining how that although the new law restricted application of felony murder, the provisions of the bill do not apply when the decedent is a police officer. So the court denied immediate resentencing for Flint. The significance of this is that this case provides a precedent in its interpretation of the recent legislation, which had amended the felony murder rule here in California. The California penal statute, which corresponded to the legislation, it showed a discrepancy or an ambiguity in the language regarding this ability for past convicts to appeal under the new legislation. So the court clarified the ambiguity, and in its clarification deferred to the spirit of the law over the letter of the law, which should inform future cases such as this. Thank you.